Now the U.S. government is closed. Non-essential federal workers are staying home, and because of that, some critical government operations are on hold. Others will continue, just with longer wait times and fewer customer services. Amy Kiley reports.
The federal government is now shut down. It's out of money because Congress can't agree on the funding plan. The main sticking point is health care. Democrats want to reverse Medicaid cuts and stop enhanced Obamacare subsidies from expiring.
We need to stop these premiums from going up dramatically.
They're arguing a December policy debate for a September funding issue.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates about 750,000 federal workers face furloughs. It says they'd otherwise make $400 million a day. Essential employees must work without pay.
Social Security checks will come in. National Weather Service, they'll still be producing forecasts. We're talking about the Department of Veterans Affairs. Those will still be open. Medicare will still be going on, and unemployment insurance will, in fact, still be reaching the people who, of course, need it most.
The State Department might be slow to issue passports. The military remains in place, but just under half of civilian defense employees are furloughed. National parks have skeleton crews. The FDA says food inspections are affected. As for transportation, about 3/4 of FAA staff are working without pay, a central issue in the last shutdown.
10 controllers actually called out sick, and it led to massive delays. And they said, you know what, we need to end this shutdown.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Now, certain things will not be impacted. The National Weather Center, ICE, Border Protection, and Veteran Services will all operate as normal. Social Security and Medicare payments, unemployment benefits, and passports and visas will still be issued. Thousands of federal workers right here in Metro Atlanta are already starting to feel the strain of the shutdown, especially at the airport. And that could eventually lead to a delay in flights for travelers. Atlanta News First, Sarah Hammond reports at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with what it looked like over there today.
Well, things are still operating normally here at the airport right now. Many travelers here probably don't even notice a difference today. But when we're talking about those essential federal workers who are still having to work while the government is shut down, we're talking about TSA agents, air traffic controllers. They're here working today, but they're not being paid. TSA agents still manned their posts this morning, just hours after the federal government shut down. Many, like Marcia Cox, say they didn't notice a difference as they worked their way through security.
Nothing changed today. I saw on the news that TSA wasn't really going to be affected, so I didn't even think about that part of it.
A spokesperson for the airport says right now airport operations remain normal, but they're prepared to address any challenges. Airlines have stressed that a prolonged shutdown could strain air travel and impact flights like it did during the government shutdown in 2019. Though Cox says she's more worried about what will be waiting after she lands.
We were more concerned about we're going to Yellowstone and Glacier, and we're more worried about the national parks closing.
In a statement from the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, they say a shutdown is adding strain on a workforce that is already stretched thin. Many non-essential federal workers are furloughed right now, and they go on to say during the last shutdown, many had to take second jobs to feed their families and pay their bills. So will these essential federal employees eventually get paid? Well, back in 2019, they were given back pay once the government reopened. In a statement from the Department of Transportation, they say the government shutdown will hurt the efficiency of air travel, and they say that about 13,000 air traffic controllers are working right now without being paid. At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Be sure to stay with Atlanta News First as we follow the latest news in Washington and the impact right here in Metro Atlanta. Take a second, scan the QR code you see on your screen to get breaking news alerts sent straight to your phone.